The island of Sodor is surrounded by beautiful blue sea. It has fields of green and sandy yellow beaches. There are rivers, streams and lots of trees where the birds sing. There are windmills and a coal mine and docks where visitors to the island arrive. The island also has lots and lots of railway lines. Who's that puffing down the track? It's Thomas. Hello, Thomas. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the island of Sodor. Tuneful toots. The little engines of the narrow gauge railway were always busy. They went uphill and downhill all day long. Rusty's favourite journey was by the lake. He liked to toot his horn there. The sound echoed around the hills. Rusty's horn was special. It had two notes, one high and one low. Rusty thought he had a very tuneful toot, but the other engines thought it was the worst noise they'd ever heard. And that made Rusty sad. One morning, the thin controller, Mr. Percival, had a special announcement to make. Sir Topham and Lady Hat are to visit our railway this evening, he said grandly. This is a very special occasion, so a brass band is coming to play for them, Mr. Percival added. The engines were very excited, but Rusty was most excited of all. He loved the sounds of a brass band. There was a lot to do. Scar, Loey and Rheneas brought tables and chairs. Duncan and Peter Sam brought apples and pears from the orchard. And Rusty was to take the brass band on a tour of the hills before the concert. When Rusty pulled into the transfer yards, Mr. Percival was waiting with the brass band. Rusty couldn't help but toot his horn high and low. At that moment, Thomas chuffed into the transfer yards with the bandstand. What was that wonderful sound? Puffed Thomas. That was Rusty, Peter Sam. He thinks his horn is special, but we don't. Well, I think it's special, wheezed Thomas. This made Rusty very happy. No one had ever liked his horn before. Rusty, the brass band are ready for their tour of the hills, called Mr. Percival. Yes, sir, hooted Rusty. The brass band was soon on board and Rusty pulled quickly out of the station. Don't be back late, Mr. Percival called after him. But Rusty didn't hear. He was tooting his two tones loud and clear. I'm going to give the brass band the best tour ever, he said. Rusty took them to the top of the highest hill. Then they went to the viaduct. Then he took them to the trestled bridge. It would soon be time for the concert. The band started to tune their instruments. The sound of their notes filled Rusty's funnel. He was very happy.